Hi everyone! Today we get to do a new art project inspired by Earth Day. It's a bit of a collage, so we get to get some papers from different places and paste them together. And it also doubles as a color wheel to help us with understanding what the different colors are and where they come from. I'm so excited about all this learning we're going to do today and how fun this project is going to be, and I hope you are too. Let's go ahead and get started. Today's project is going to be based off of terracotta suns, which is a specific type of reddish clay, and a lot of people create different sun faces with different eyes and shapes that work together, and a lot of people put them outside in their garden. We have two goals for today that we need to work on first though. The first is to use value scale to make an image. Value scale means lighter and darker, so we're going to use light and dark pencil marks to make details in the face of our terracotta sun that we're drawing. We're also going to add a shading technique to make value, and that technique is going to be blending using a finger and also using an eraser to make highlight spots. I'll tell you all about it when we get there. Today you'll need a blank piece of paper, hopefully a piece of sulfite paper because it'll be easier for blending, as well as a pencil and an eraser. Now, what I'm going to do, I might have different materials than what you have, and I want you to use your creative brain to come up with what materials you might use if you don't have the same materials as me. There is no right or wrong way to do art, so I just hope you're creative and follow along with what's going on, but don't worry if yours doesn't turn out exactly the way mine does. We're going to start by sketching a small-ish, kind of medium-sized circle, I guess, right in the center of our paper. Now, sketching means we can make those lines kind of overlap. It doesn't need to be perfect, and you can keep going until you get the shape of the circle that you want. After you have your circle in the center the way you want it, we are going to add some triangles that are going to be for some of the rays of the sun. These rays are going to be in sets of 3. So I did one in the middle, and now I need to do 2 kind of to either side diagonally, so they're spaced out as evenly as possible, about the same size. And doing these in sets of 3 can be a little tricky, so you can always erase and go back if you don't like how they're spread out. After you have that, you should have 3 empty-ish spaces, and we're going to make 3 more rays right in those spaces. Try to make them the same size and shape as you've made the other rays that we've been working on so far. Your sun should now have 6 rays and a few little empty spaces left. In between every single ray we just made, we are going to make a curvy ray just like the one I completed. You can see that these kind of overlap. I'm kind of making them look like they're coming out from behind. So at the end you should have 6 curvy rays and 6 regular rays coming out from the center of your sun. You can pause the video and play it again when you're ready. For the rest of the time today, we are going to be working on the details on the inside of the sun, which is the face, just like you saw in the terracotta sun example I gave you at the beginning. We're going to start by making 2 loops that are kind of upside down U's towards the middle, and we want them to look as close to the same as we can. Remember, we're still sketching, so you can change what it looks like at any time. After you have those, you are going to create some circles that touch the top. It even looks like you can't see the top of the circle because of the line you made. And then we'll go back through and make the bottom part of the eye, and it's kind of going to overlap the bottom of the circle. You might need to erase part of it. That's what real eyes look like. We can't always see the entire colored part of the eye, and so that's why we're doing it like this with our terracotta sun as well. Once we have that finished, we can start building the bridge of the nose, which is kind of that bone that comes from in between the eyes down towards where your nostrils would be. So we're going to do this very lightly. It kind of starts at each corner of the eye. Lots of time it gets a little bit thinner before there's those kind of bumps on the outside where your nostrils are. You'll connect the different parts of the nostril using 2 little bumps or circles at the bottom so you can see the part where you actually inhale air at. One other feature of the nose that I want to make sure we add in are the 2 very soft little lines that come out from under your nostrils before your mouth starts. After you add those, you can do 2 curved lines that have a point in the middle. That's pretty much how lips look when they're closed. And then there's a round part that connects them at the bottom. Remember, this is sketching, so redo your lines as many times as you'd like until you get the mouth that you like. Don't forget to add the line that separate your lips as well. Go ahead and add really lightly any other details you might like as well. I'm going to add eyebrows, but some people do eyelashes or dimples or parts of their chin, and that is fine too. Once your face is sketched out, now we get to start doing the value scale. So the first thing we need to do is make the circle that we have very nice and dark. Around that line you just made, you're going to add some really light pencil marks using the side of your pencil. You don't want to use the point because you don't really want to be able to see the exact lines you just created. Then you can take your finger and blend it in to kind of make a shadow around the outside of the face. The more of these shadows and highlights, the better this will start to look. The next thing I'm going to work on is the eyebrows. Eyebrows aren't just one thin line, so I'm going to kind of go through the middle so I get the general shape, but then I'm going to outline it around the outside so I know exactly the space that I want it to take up. We are also going to add some darker lines around the outside of the bridge of the nose. We want that part to be darker, and then that bridge of the nose kind of goes under your eyes. Your eyes kind of go down before you hit your eyeball. So we want everything that's down or further away where the light would create a shadow, we want to add some darkness to it. So that's what I'm doing with my nostrils, everything around here, and I'm blending it all in with my finger so that we don't see any exact lines. Don't forget to make the center of your nostrils darker too. The next thing that we need to do is the lips, and the lips are kind of fun because they have some different highlights and shadows along the different edges. So I'm putting really dark colors kind of around the outline so I make sure this is exactly what I want before I get too far. And then I'm coloring all of the lips in after I have that finished, so that way we know that those are lips because lips are darker than the skin color. I'm adding some extra shadow, some extra value in the corners because our lips are a little bit lighter in the center than they are in the corners. I'm going to repeat what I did when I outlined my lips. I'm going to repeat that on my eyes. I'm going to make the corners very dark first, make sure I like where they sit before I go around and outline the rest of the eye and the eyeball. You'll also want to color in the eyes and blend those in, as well as adding a even darker, smaller circle in the center for the pupils of the eyes. All I'm doing for the rest of the time is adding more highlights and shadows. So you'll notice you'll see me use my eraser in some of these parts where I want it to be a little bit lighter, like on the cheekbones where the sun might hit more. And I'm adding a lot more darkness around the outside of the face, as well as to get me some more details within the eyes, the nose, the eyebrows, anywhere where I think it needs a little bit more shadow. We're going to go ahead and pause there for today's lesson, but I do want you to keep these pieces in a really safe space so we make sure that next week we have everything and we can work on it and finish up our color wheel part of our terracotta style sun. I hope you had fun and I can't wait to see what your creations look like. I'll see you next time.